Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, some business owners permanently close up shop and pay thousands of dollars in redundancy benefits. The Ministry of Sport to prioritize as it seeks to restore facilities affected by Hurricane Maria. And art and craft producers concerned they will not be ready for the cruise season in 2018. The details coming up.
King Garments on 28 Stibber Street in Pottersville offer a variety of services to you, the general public. We produce independent and local clothing at our Pottersville store. We offer top security services to our many clients and business houses. Also, just arrive at our new PowerMate 6,000 kilowatt generator to power your homes after Hurricane Maria. So come into 28 Stibber Street in Pottersville or call King's Garments at 440-6181, 277-7178 or 317-4441. King's Garments, we are here to serve you. Today.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners, Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
And first up in the news, the DIC awaiting direct fiscal incentives from government to help restore the private sector following the ravages of Hurricane Maria. Idona John Baptist reports.
The DAIC, as a member of the Dominica Business Forum, had asked the state for a stimulus package. Government has not yet met the private sector community's demands in a position paper it presented in October. However, it has responded to the private sector situation by removing VAT from imported goods and launching a special recovery loan facility at the Aid Bank, lowering the interest rate on loans for the manufacturing, hotel and farming sectors.
We've had one meeting with the government for the general private sector body. I think the main statement that has been made recently, which is that the Aid Bank has been facilitated and that I believe the deadline is the December 18th, is the main positive for us. And then from there, we get to see, if the measures that are being taken are going to be effective enough to help the private sector move forward. Because it's only then that the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And so from December 18th, when private sector members of the DIC and the wider private sector start to approach those facilities and start to draw down, then we get to see the real effectiveness and whether it's going to help people start to re-employ those that they let go and also to start to be more productive in their businesses.
Green says businesses' ability to be fully productive will depend on a level of fiscal incentives from the state.
I mean, the quid pro quo is that you have to have the facility available, and as such, the facility has not yet been available for drawdown by the private sector. When that happens, then the focus then switches back to the private sector, because the private sector is still hurting. They haven't actually gotten real assistance in terms of drawdown, in terms of finances. What there's been is duty-free, etc. But that's going to take time, especially for the retail and commercial sector, because they're going to have to import goods. There's a time lag with that. The port still has challenges logistically. So to me, the real rub is going to be the release of funds to the private sector through the Aid Bank and other facilities.
While the Business Forum noted in its position paper a lack of confidence in the police force due to widespread looting on their businesses, Green says the DAIC would like to dialogue with the police.
I think that was a concern put forward by the DBF as an umbrella body. I mean, the DAIC is its own separate entity. whilst we share some of the concerns, I think the main thing is to have a one-on-one dialogue with the police force to understand what are they going to do going forward, not just for their own organization and the whole security apparatus. And so what we need to know now going forward is how are the police force going to structure themselves so that this never happens again in the form that it was a surprise or a shock to the system.
Meantime, some business owners have been forced to close up shop or pay thousands of dollars in redundancy benefits to their employees. The word from Executive Director of the Employers Federation, Ashil Joseph, who said that employers have dismissed employees in accordance with the law.
There are certain employers who will not come back up following the hurricane. We know that. I have sat and I've discussed with quite a number of employers who are not going back into business, either because of their age or they felt that the anger of the Dominican public and the uncooperative reply of the state does not augur well for them to go back into employment. So in cases like that, these people have ended their trading and they have made positions redundant, and people who are occupying those positions, their employment are terminated for reasons of redundancy.
Redundancy under the Protection of Employment Act applies when an employer terminates a position on his workforce on the basis of restructuring operations, the sale of the business, economic hardship, or where the employer has discontinued carrying on all or part of his business. According to information from the Dominica Social Security, one would have to be employed continuously for no less than 3 years to qualify for redundancy benefit.
There's an employer we assisted about 3 weeks ago who had to shut down his enterprise because of the impact of the hurricane. There is no way. It's going to cost millions of dollars to repair that place and to build back his brand. It's going to take about 2 years. So what he did, he's made every employee redundant. We were there. We attended the meetings. The union was there too. We handed out checks. And at the end of handing out checks, the tab was $302,000 were paid out in redundancy benefits a few weeks ago. Listen, where that money comes from? Bank not going to give you loan. You don't have business to recoup that. It has to come from past earnings. Monies that you need right now to build back your business, you have to pay it in redundancy.
Joseph said no employer takes pleasure in implementing that measure, especially since it can be costly.
The redundancy is not something any employer wants. It is the most costly means of severance in Dominica. It goes with a big fat check, up to 1 year's pay an employer has to pay. And he has to pay that from retained earnings. He has to pay that from profit he made in the past. No employer wants to make employees redundant. Unlike sometimes you hear outbursts sometimes about redundancy. It is not cheap.
And art and craft producers concerned they will not be ready with at least items to vend when the 2018 cruise season comes around. Andrea Louis has more.
The Dominica Arts and Crafts Producers Association, DACPA, was established to create employment and be a leading contributor to growth of the tourism industry and the wider economy. It also aims to increase awareness of the importance of the craft sector to the Dominican economy. Currently, the country is undergoing preparations to welcome back cruise visitors from 1st January 2018. However, President of DACPA, Vanessa Winston, says Hurricane Maria had impacted the local association's tools, equipment, and local raw material, which will make supplying local craft items for January 2018 challenging.
Within my workshop, I also stored some of the association tools and equipment, our tables, our chairs and tents there, and that storeroom was totally destroyed. However, to the wider body itself, there are a few persons that have lost their workshop, lost all their tools. There is one member that lives at Pottersville, and all his equipment was covered in mud. We also have the fact that they depend so much on the agricultural-based products. Like, for instance, we have those that do the mats. So right now, when I call Penville to find out, okay, you know what happened, said that all her mats, all her products for her mats, her raw material was totally destroyed. And even so, she might not find any raw material anytime soon. For the coconuts, for instance, Julian does the coconuts, and the coconuts we all know coconuts are down, and it's not anytime soon he's going to get coconuts here to actually be able to produce the work. Even calabash and all those things. 1st of January is like a few days away. It's kind of slim, but I know members that have started back working. Some, well, because of lack of electricity and also loss of tools, the electric tools, they might not be able to do it as quickly as they used to. And even, you know, their finishing might take more time and everything, because right now they have to go back to the hand tools that, you know, the hand tools that we've set aside. Right now we have to pull them back out and try to utilize them. So it's kind of slim, but I've seen members start, you know, producing and working towards getting there. So we just hope that, you know, at the point in time that the industry is ready, that more can be done, that the local craft can be featured even highly than the foreign craft.
Winston pointed out that even before Hurricane Maria, there were challenges creating greater awareness and visibility of local products among tourists who visited the island.
Well, one of the things that we have really pushed to do is actually bring awareness to the local craft and the local talent that we have on island. You find that there's a lot of persons that love the straw mats and the straw baskets and so forth. Even for the carry baskets, we have a lot of persons that would like to walk away with a nice leather designed purse or wristband with their name engraved on it. You have persons that want a coconut piece, a calabash piece, and you know, we've actually provided some of the vendors with some of our local products. And also there are a few members that also had their own stall on the bayfront. So we therefore, even if we're not, well, one of the things we're looking to be is directly located on the bayfront to just have something to represent just the local craft. It has been a challenge due to the fact of the foreign products. But I think right now, with the reopening of the season, if the members are given the strength that they need, probably in machinery, to help with equipment and machinery, right now I think this is the time that we can really contribute even better to the tourism industry.
The DACPA president admits that members have taken the blow to the industry to heart. However, she is encouraging them to use their creativity and the abundance of material left by the hurricane to bounce back from its impact.
The trees that fell down and the amount of driftwood that is everywhere. If we, and I encourage our members to, you know, don't give up hope and let's be more innovative. So now is the time for us to take that creativity that we were blessed with and actually be innovative with all the recycled products that we can actually use on island to produce cost-effective material products, souvenirs and craft products that can be passed on to the vendors. A lot of our members, some of them, they were so broken to certain things about like how they were damaged, because when you invest years of equipment and then one night you come and see everything, it's like already the being part of the industry was a struggle, and then to see that you lose everything that you invest. Some of them took it a little bit hard, and some persons, they went away for a while, but I've spoken to them, they're hoping to come back, and there are members that are being vigilant. We have a group chat, and you know, we now and then we communicate with people, and people's spirit is starting back to rise.
DACPA was officially formed as a registered non-profit company in 2011 and has a core membership of approximately 30 people. Reporting for Channel 5 News, I am Andrea Louis.
The Ministry of Sport is assessing the grounds around the country to determine which ones should be given priority as it seeks to recover following Hurricane Maria. Kenny Williams has more on that.
The Minister for Sports was at the time responding to a question about the utilization of sporting grounds least affected by Hurricane Maria. Cleanup efforts in the Roseau area began days after Hurricane Maria struck, and Portersville Savannah was designated as a temporary dumping site. Previously, that savannah was used as a recreation ground for schools and sporting organizations here. Charles says the Lindo Park Committee is mainly responsible for the Lindo Park sporting grounds.
Aware that Lindo Park really is governed by the Lindo Park Committee. And the Lindo Park Committee, we would expect, and we as the Ministry of Sports, we normally give support to the development of and maintenance of the playing field. The ministry normally on a regular basis would send somebody to do the grass the lawn maintenance, and we can continue to do that. But we would expect the committee to have already taken proactive action and to be able to begin to do an assessment and to tell us what is required at the stadium, at the Lindo Park.
In her report, Charles noted that her department was awaiting assessments of affected sporting infrastructure in order to determine the way forward for sports development here.
In terms of the hard court, as I said, most of those facilities, the uprights were damaged, and we definitely have to now get costing on all of those uprights, and we are in the process of getting estimates for all of our sports facilities that were damaged, so that we know exactly. We have had for the stadium, as I said, so we need for every facility, so we know exactly how much it's going to cost us and which areas we would have to give priority. And as you rightly said, that is one of the areas that is greatly utilized for basketball. So definitely this would be one of the areas that we would have to look at and consider in relation to basketball development. We have the Massac playing field, we have Pichney, we have, there are some areas, St. Joseph, there are some areas that are widely utilized for the sports, and some of the people at the meeting, the representatives of basketball did make mention of the extent of damage in some of the areas that they utilize very much for their development of their various sports. And so we will attempt to give priority, but I cannot say we will do all of them. As you will appreciate, we can only do those things incrementally, but we also expect collaboration, and we expect the committee, the Lindo Park Committee, also to take charge, because I know they also had a mower that would probably be able to be used for the maintenance of the grass. So I expect them. The fence is done, and that was a project that was funded outside of government. So they would have to look to see how they can collaborate with us to see how they themselves can restore it, because they are in full. They're really in charge of this facility for now, although it is government's land.
Meantime, the Ministry of Sport says it is renegotiating with the relevant authorities for the establishment of a synthetic track.
Government made a commitment to make land available, but that is land we were supposed to purchase. We are expected to purchase from the Dominica Social Security. In discussion with the Olympic Committee and other stakeholders, they are requesting more land than what was recommended to them. And so as a result of that, we have to revisit, because the land does not belong to government, the land belongs to the Dominica Social Security. So we would have to review the request that they make and see how feasible it is, and then we will get back to the Olympic Committee. But that is how far we are. They've, what I would say is, made a request for more land than what was proposed. But I know what we offered was enough to have prepared and built a 400-meter track.
The restoration of the various sporting grounds is expected to be costly. Kenny Williams, Channel 5 News.
And since Hurricane Maria, the number of containers coming in at the Woodbridge Bay port has increased by over 60% over previous years. The port has handled 1,456 containers since September 23, 956 of those containers belonging to the private sector, while 113 of them were for individual consignees. 101 of these have already been unstuffed. Only 12 containers are yet to be unstuffed, and that is causing a problem.
We are constrained by space, so as we were urging the consignees to visit their agent representatives, the vessel agent representatives, for their agent release forms to be able to clear cargo at the port. There is a difficulty in reaching some persons because we have telephone numbers, or the agents have telephone numbers for some persons, but those telephone numbers are not reachable. We ourselves try to call some of these persons, but obviously because of the telecommunication system as it is at present, fixed lines are not functional, and some of these cell phones do not operate in certain locations. And so we are urging persons who are sending barrels, boxes, and the like to their families to put a telephone number that they can be reached or contacted, because sometimes they're not even aware that those packages are there or have arrived, and so it remains in the port for a longer period than it really should. And that creates some sort of backlog for us because we have to be shifting these items to be able to destuff more containers so that more persons can receive their cargo.
Bardwell says the lifting of the curfew is good news for port workers as well as the private sector.
We want to point out that the delays experienced by the business community in receiving their containers have reduced significantly. And the setback experience has been because of lack of container stacking equipment and forklifts, especially when we have a vessel discharging cargo in the port. During that period, no container stacking equipment is available to the business community, whilst the stevedore and longshore workers are utilizing the equipment. However, we do have good news in the sense that with the help of the government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, the Board of DASPA, an additional container stacking equipment is being acquired to ensure that the business community would not suffer delays in their containerized cargo at the port, even when a vessel is discharging or loading cargo in the port. So hopefully within the next 10 to 12 days, we should be providing that service to the business community, and they would have absolutely no difficulty when there is a vessel in port to be able to call on the port for delivery of their containers.
To end the news, the headlines again. Some business owners permanently close shop and pay thousands of dollars in redundancy benefits. The Ministry of Sports to prioritize as it seeks to restore facilities affected by Hurricane Maria. And art and craft producers concerned they will not be ready for the 2018 cruise season. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us again tomorrow.